I think we can say that we all want peace. We all want peace in our life. I don't think you could ask anybody, do you want peace in your life? And they go, no, I don't want peace. I don't want to have that. I think each and every one of us searches for peace in our life. The question is, where do we search for that peace? And some search for peace within a bottle. Some search for peace within their finances. Some search for peace with their job or their status in life. Some search for peace in someone else's bed. That's kind of where we see ourselves in the story today. We're in Luke chapter 7. But I want us to look really quick at the end of the story. Because at the very end of the story, Jesus says to this woman, your faith has saved you. Go in peace. It was very important for this woman to go in peace. But how did she have that? Well, let's set the stage. In verse 36, in chapter 7 of Luke, it says, one of the Pharisees asked him to eat with him, and he went into the Pharisee's house and reclined at the table. So to set the stage, a Pharisee asked Jesus to come into his home. He was going to prepare him a meal. They was going to sit there and eat. And really, when we look later on in the story, it seems like the reason the Pharisee asked Jesus to come in the first place was to try to figure him out. I mean, I'm sure he's heard a lot of stories about this man who has healed the sick, who teaches as one who has authority. He's heard a lot of stories. So let's see it for myself. Is Jesus truly a prophet? Who is this man that I have heard so much about? So he invited him in so that they could eat. Now, picture it in your mind when he invites them to come to his home and eat. It's not like if you come to my house and we sit around the dining room table and we have a meal at the table. No, the way that they would eat at this time, there was a blanket in the middle of the room. And all of the food was put on the blanket, and then they would recline. They would sit on their left arm. They would use their 3 fingers to go in and get the food and bring it out, and their feet would be behind them. Very important to the story. That's how they would eat. They would recline at the table. So as Jesus was reclining at the table, this woman heard that he was at this Pharisee's house. She wanted to come meet. Her description in Luke, it says, and behold, a woman of the city who was a sinner. It's a polite way of saying that she was a prostitute. She was a sinner. She wants to meet Jesus. So she comes in, and it seems like she's almost not wanting to approach Jesus personally, but since his feet's behind him, and she notices his feet still dirty. It was a custom that if you would come into somebody's home, if you was a guest, then either the master's slave, or if he didn't have a slave, the master himself of the home would wash your feet. But Jesus' feet remained dirty. This woman, as she is approaching Jesus, she sees this and she begins to weep. She begins to, I think, look back on her life. She's in the presence of holiness. And she breaks down. She begins to cry. And as she begins to cry, it starts to wet Jesus' feet, and she lets her hair down to dry his feet. First of all, women did not let their hair down in public. It was seen as shameful. This woman who is considered a woman of the city, who is a sinner, is now shaming herself even more of letting her hair down to wipe his feet. She didn't care what anybody else thought. All she cared about was Jesus. And it says that she took an alabaster jar of anointment and began to anoint his feet. Why do you think Luke adds that detail? The alabaster jar. It was a very expensive perfume. A very expensive ointment. It being in an alabaster jar is probably the best ointment and the best perfume that she probably owned, because the only way that you could open it up is if you broke the lid off. Once you broke the lid off of it, you had to use it. So this was a very expensive. One of the Gospels, I think, states that this was about a year's wage in this little bottle. But you know, the Bible isn't always as pretty and pleasant as we want it. Because when we look at this anointment, we begin to realize that this is probably what she used in her profession. Either making the bed full of perfume, putting perfume on herself, or it's also used as lubrication. So she's using the very thing that she would use in her profession as a prostitute to pour that on Jesus' feet. She's getting rid of it. This Pharisee sees this woman. This is why I believe he brought Jesus in to try to figure him out, because he says in his mind, if this man truly was a prophet, he would know what kind of woman she is. Who's touching her? She's a sinner. I believe to truly find peace, peace comes by seeing and being seen. This man truly didn't see this woman, and Jesus will ask that question later. All he sees is a sinner. He doesn't see the heart. So Jesus began to tell him a parable. It says, and Jesus answered and said to him, Simon, I have something to say to you. And the answer said, teacher. A certain money lender had two debtors. One owed 500 denarii and the other 50. When they could not pay, he canceled the debt of both. Now, which of them will love him more? I love how Jesus approaches his teaching. It would have been easy for Jesus to just come out and say, those who are forgiven more loves more. But he tells them a parable. And the amazing thing about parables, as one author states, is they're kind of hidden landmines. They kind of sneak their way in, but all of a sudden they blow up in your face. Because he asked them the question, which one will love him more? There's only one answer to that question. And Simon knows it by this point. That's why it goes on and says, Simon answers, the one, I suppose, from whom he canceled the larger debt. The fact that he says, the one, I suppose, he's saying it begrudgingly. He knows what Jesus' point is here. It's that hidden landmine. He kind of stuck it in there. It's the same thing that Nathan did to David when he told him a parable about the sheep. You remember that after the affair he had with Bathsheba. And at the end of it, it says, what shall we do with this man? And David says, we shall kill him. He says, you are that man. Kind of snuck his way in there, and then it blows up here in Simon's face. I suppose the one who's forgiven more debt. And it was a substantial amount. A denarii was about 8 days' wage. So if we look at minimum wage, working about 8 hours a day, the 500 denarii in today's time would be somewhere around $29,000. $20,000. Well, the 50 denarii would be around 2,900. So which one's going to love that collector? I tell you, if I owed almost $30,000 and he just canceled it, I'd love him so much more than just the $3,000. I mean, I'd appreciate the $3,000 tremendously. But that's Jesus' point here. This woman, yes, she is a sinner. Yes, she has many sins. Yes, she has collected quite a bit of debts. Maybe more than you, righteous Pharisee. But still, who's going to love her more? That was Jesus' whole point. That's why he goes on after Simon answers him, and it says, and he said to him, "You judge rightly." Then turning to the woman, he said to Simon, "Do you see this woman?" Now, in that question, I don't think he's asking, do you kind of visually see this woman? I think he's changing the question now, do you truly see this woman? Do you see her heart? Do you see beyond that exterior? Do you see beyond that sin? Do you see her heart? Jesus did. We want to find peace. The first way that we find peace is by seeing and being seen. We got to see people more the way that Jesus sees people than the way the Pharisee in the story saw. Jesus looked at the heart. He could see a future if somebody would have just loved her. She was trying to find peace in all of the wrong places. It was only Jesus that she could truly love. Another way we find peace is by loving and being loved. That's why Jesus goes on in this story. He says, "Do you see this woman? I entered her house. You gave me no water for my feet, but she has wet my feet with her tears and wiped them with her hair. You gave me no kiss, but from the time that I came in, she has not ceased to kiss my feet. You did not anoint my head with oil, but she has anointed my feet, or my feet with oil." This Pharisee didn't do what was even customary. This woman went far greater and beyond to show her love for Jesus. And we kind of get a glimpse of how both of them viewed Jesus. Pharisee was trying to figure him out. He wasn't sure if he was a prophet or not. He didn't care enough about him to even have his feet washed, to give him a welcome kiss, or we wouldn't do a handshake. Please don't kiss me on the way out. Or even anoint his head. Everything that was customary, he didn't do. But this woman did everything that would seem disgraceful because she loved. Goes on and says, "Therefore I tell you, her sins, which are many, are forgiven. For she loved much. But he who is forgiven little loves little." So we find peace by seeing and being seen. We find peace by loving and being loved. How do we love Jesus today? Would be a great question. I mean, yeah, if Jesus was in one of our homes and we walk in and we anoint his feet, that would be a way to love him. But we don't have him physically here now. So how do we love him? He teaches us that everything that we do, even for the least of these, we do for him. So we love by loving others. In 1 John chapter 4, verse 12. I have to look at it again. But he says, we love because he first loved us. But it goes on and says, anyone who says that he loves God but hates his brother is a liar. Because how can we love God who we do not see and not love our brother who we do see? If we don't love one another, we don't truly love God. If we don't love the people that he went to save, then we don't truly love God. I find it very interesting that the people that flocked to Jesus is the same people who would have ran away from the Pharisees. The people who flocked to Jesus is the same people who would probably run from the church today. Why? Because Jesus loved you. He loves you. It's the only way that we can love. We love because he first loved us. And what is love? While we were still sinners, Christ died for us. He showed us his love. And we are to show his love to others. We find peace in seeing and being seen. We find peace in loving and being loved. And we find peace in forgiving and being forgiven. That's why it goes on and says, and he said to her, your sins are forgiven. And those who were at the table with him began to say among themselves, who is this? Who even forgives sins? And he said to the woman, your faith has saved you. Go in peace. We can have peace because we have been forgiven. It's only when we realize that we have been forgiven can we truly find peace. Because if I'm still trying to work for it, if I'm still trying to earn it, if I still look at my life, look at my past, and beat myself up for everything that I have done, I will never have peace in my life. It's only when I realize he sees me for who I am, he loves me for who I am, he is forgiven. And he is forgiven. I find it so interesting that these people, it's a statement that we have heard before. Who is this that forgives sins? Talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and Jesus' response was, which one's easier? To say to this man, your sins are forgiven, or to get up and walk? But when they asked this question this time, who is this that can forgive sins? Do you see what he does? He ignores them. He doesn't answer. His concentration was on the woman, and the only thing that he cared about in that point is that she was forgiven because of her faith, and that she goes in peace. That's what he wants for you. He wants you to have peace. And peace isn't the absence of difficulty. Peace is being able to have comfort and assurance in the midst of chaos. That's true peace. Jesus even said, I came so that you may have peace. That's what he cared about. As much as he cared about this woman having peace, he cares that you have peace. As I said, the only way that we can do that is by seeing others the way they truly are. Knowing that we are seen. By loving and then being loved. By forgiving and knowing that we have been forgiven. Maybe that's what we need. You need that peace. You've not yet put your faith in him. Not yet felt his love